Okay, today we're going to finish up on the Jurassic Park. Started out with balloon fuses in the first player gun, and then we had no signal on the monitor. I'm going to go through everything that happened to me, the things that I got wrong, and then how we actually fixed it, or how I actually fixed it. And then I'm going to show you some other things to look for in case this isn't your problem, but you are, or this is your problem, but those aren't the symptoms you're having. Stay tuned. Okay, I want to explain a little bit of what was going on with the Jurassic Park. So this is player one gun. The very first problem I had with it was the two fuses that go to the two solenoids that are in here. Actually, I think they're there and there. They blew, so I knew I was having a short somewhere. It was blowing those fuses. And so I did change the fuses, and that was fine. Lasted for a couple days, and then all of a sudden I came in, and there was no signal on the screen. So I'm like, all right, so there's bigger problems. So we get in, and basically the only thing I found was a relay that was wrong, and that turns out that wasn't it. What was going on was this had actually broken off of this part of the gun, and this is where it mounts to the cabinet. Now, this is the harness that goes through the game. Let me get it here. Yeah. So this goes through the game, and then right past this connector right here are where the fuses are. So when I changed the fuses, I actually pulled this back through the game where it was tight with this again. So then I'm going to go ahead and take this apart and look for shorts to see if that's what blew the fuses and what ended up actually frying the board. So All Castle Games, you were right for sure. I should have gave you a little bit more credit. But anyway, when I looked at this, since this had broken, let's see if I can hold it right. This was up at the top of the cabinet, and this was down at the bottom. So when I looked at the wiring, it was okay, what I thought. But let me zoom in here. I didn't see this at first, or didn't care. I don't know if I was just tired that day or what, but I totally missed. All these wires right here have just been smashed and ground open, and we're definitely shorting out. So I knew it had something to do with this gun because those fuses had blown. So what I didn't know is we started looking at other problems in the cabinet first instead of going back and looking at this gun. And of course, when I called Raw Thrills, they said, go ahead and try another board, a RIO board in there. It's Raw Thrills IO board. And so I was like, okay, right behind it I have a cruising, so I threw that in. It lasted 3 hours, and as soon as some kid went jacking around with this gun back and forth, it shorted these wires out again, and it took that board out. And I think can't remember if it was $400 or $700 for a board for that. So I started looking. I can fix these wires. It'll look really bad, personally. Like I would hate to have to do this, and as nasty as it would look. But I still would need this plate, and this is all bent up from pulling the gun back and forth. And so when I called, of course, I was told I couldn't get one of these. And for this part, couldn't get this part either. They don't really sell parts for these guns. So what I had to do basically is just set this one aside for parts for later, if I ever do need them. And we had to order a new gun. So this one just came in from Betson. This is all attached here. Of course, there's no shorts in it. And I do have the game running. I have just player 2 going with this gun out. The new RIO board is doing fine. I actually had pulled a relay out of skee ball and put it into the game just to see if that was the problem. Well, after I got the board and everything going, I went ahead and ran the power through the relay, and it's working fine. I just was a little confused or tired about how that stuff was working there in the bottom of the game. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and mount this. And it's a little loud out there. I'll see if I can get the music turned down. And I'm going to go ahead and put this through, show you where it connects, and show you where the fuses were. And just in case you didn't watch the previous video, or the previous 2 videos. But we're going to go ahead and get that set up. And hopefully player 1 and player 2 will be fine. And I'll see you back in a minute. Okay, we're at the game now. You can see before it was saying no RIO or RIO board disconnected up here when we finally did get the monitor to come on. This is where the first player gun is going to go. Here is player 2. I have the gun I'm going to install. And I'm going to take this harness that's here and just feed it through here, and then we'll open up the back of the game. I'll get the tripod out and I'll show you how to hook that up, and I'll kind of explain what was going on a little bit. Thanks. Okay, let's wait for that track music to go off. Now I'm going to go through kind of what happened to this game, why it happened to me in this situation, and then we're going to move into the back. I'm going to set up the tripod, show you what happened in my situation, and then show you some other things that could happen that could cause this to happen. But we had fuses blowing the gun, both fuses. There's one for each solenoid because there's like 2 shots. So that was the first thing, and I got those changed. And what had happened, why that caused, is if you look here at this post, this is actually mounted to this plate just underneath here. Now I don't know if this happened before I had the next problem and I just didn't see it, but this fell down in here onto that harness that runs through here and cut the wires and shorted it out. Now I assumed it did way more damage after I checked the fuses. I assumed that it was somewhere in here, so I had decased this and checked all the wiring in here. And I did look down here, I think, but I don't know. I think I really dropped the ball and didn't notice that the wiring was cut down there. But it could have, this part could have broke after that. I'm just really not sure about that. But we're just going to go with I dropped the ball. But after that, it came in black screen, said no signal from the computer, or that's what it would be. And I'm going to go ahead and show you why that happened, what I did to fix it at the time. But I did just rig it where I plugged it straight into the computer straight into the wall. The game came up like this, and then it said RIO board not connected. And the RIO board is the Raw Thrills IO board. So let's go ahead and get the tripod set up, and then like I said, I'm going to go through what actually happened and then some other things that you can look for if this is going on in your game. Okay, so first I'm going to go ahead and unplug the game, and well, I'm just going to turn it off. And then I'm going to hook these guns up, and we're going to kick the game back on, make sure we don't get any shorts, that kind of thing. But it is, let's see, I'm on camera. Okay, so here's where it comes out right here. Here's where it plugs in. Okay, that's it for that. Here's where the 2 fuses are in these here. They are 2 amp slow blows, and they are labeled here on the wire 2 amp slow blow. But in the manual, I can't remember what it said, if it was like 5 amp or something like that maybe. But I'm assuming we're not going to have any problems. We have this all hooked up. Tuck it back a little bit, guess not. We're going to kick the game on. Now I'm going to talk about issues that you could be having to cause the problem I had, and then we'll go into what happened to me and how we fixed it. So basically, if it comes up in a blank screen, no signal, this is the PC that's inside the game. You can see this little light right here means the power is on for the PC, so the game is running. You can also see there's LEDs on the power supplies. Can't really see them, they are on. And then we have flashing LED here, and then we have some voltage LEDs there. It's a 5 volt standby, a 5 volt, and a 12 volt, I do believe. Okay, so when I had no signal, there was no power to this. You hit the button, it wouldn't come on. It's plugged in here to the back of the PC. It comes, this one I don't need. This was my hack job. Comes through and comes to here. And this goes into this little plug here where all the wires kind of are joined up, and it goes into this little relay, and there is a LED that's lit on the relay, and then these 2 wires go back up to the RIO board here, and I think they go to the standby circuit, which is the power for the monitor. So the first thing I did, and this was wrong, was I just tracked power. I got it to here, and then of course, for whatever reason, the power doesn't run through here. I don't know if it comes back through here. I'm really not sure how that works, so don't listen to me on that. I don't know what I'm talking about. But anyway, the AC voltages weren't going across here, and I was getting nothing over there. So I just figured I'd bypass this relay, and then that's where I just tapped into an AC line for the monitor, I think. And I plugged that in, and we got that to come up. Let me see if I'll make sure I'm not zoomed in. So I got the PC to fire up, and the game came up, and it said no RIO board, or Raw Thrills IO board. And that's this guy here. Now, at the time, all three of these, well, the 5-volt standby wasn't lit. So I actually ended up jumpering it to 5 volts on one of these power supplies. And then, so I got that one to light up, but it still wasn't firing up the computer when you would turn it off and on. One thing I didn't have, there's actually two lights here. Hang on one second, I'm gonna look and see what they are. Okay, it's just marked D2 and D3. But now my board, it didn't have these that are flashing, which I assume this is just telling you that it's actually working. So if you're in this problem with no RIO board, or RIO board's not connected, make sure that you have these two lights going, as well as your voltage lights up here. If those aren't on, it's not working. You need to either check some of these connections. There's going to be other issue. Now, if you don't have one of these voltages, it could be the power supply, which you would need to check the power supply for its voltages. The other thing you can check is this right here, and this goes to the computer. Now, it is just a USB connection, but it runs to the computer, and there's, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 slots back there that you can plug it into. So you want to make sure that that's good. You can also take this out of another game if you have another Raw Thrills game, just to make sure it's not a short in this wire. What else can we check? I think that's about it. And these are the two gun boards here that ran up. They go around and they go to these fuses. So, but I was lucky and those weren't damaged. So basically, to tell you what happened in my situation was those wires were shorted up there underneath the gun. I replaced these fuses, got the game working again, came in, no power. So I cheated, ran power through here, was able to get that to come on, wasn't able to get this to actually come up and work. So because I had so many issues, and I thought I had this, and I had problems over here, I forgot about the short in the gun. Okay, so I called Raw Thrills and I asked them what I should do, and they were like, well, if you don't see any shorts in the wiring or something like that, you should just find another board in another game and swap it out, see if you can troubleshoot that it's not the board. So I was like, okay, that's easy to do. Right here behind us, I have a pair of Cruise and Blasts. So swap in the board from Cruise and Blast, works for 3 hours, and then it shorts out. And that's because there were shorts in this wiring, and when they were moving that gun back and forth, they were causing problems. Now, I never did blow these fuses, though. I did check that. So I had to order a third, well, actually I had to order 2 IO boards. I had already ordered one for this because it was bad. Tested the one in Cruise and Blast, then this one went bad. The good news is you can send the damaged board back to Betson, and they'll give you like a half credit. So it's not like the full $700. So now we got the new gun, because they wouldn't sell us any gun parts, and I see why now that I get it. Sorry, I'm getting dry mouth. So I got the second gun I'm going to keep for parts, because there's solenoids on there. I mean, there's some random stuff. Got this hooked up, new fuses in here, got it all plugged back in. I do have it ran back through the relay, which it was not the problem, and now the game's going. So let's walk around and take a look up front. Everything is good to go on here. So I am going to take this back in the office and we'll wrap it up. So I'll go ahead and call that a success. We got it going. There's no shorts. That's, like I said, it's the biggest earner in our arcade right now. So it was very important for the owners for us to get it back up and going. If you have any questions about that or any other game, you can always comment down below, and I try to answer almost everything that I see and get notifications for. Or if you're on Facebook, we have a Facebook group. It's Matty Mo's Arcade. Feel free to join. I have lots of tech friends that are in there. And if I can't answer the question or Mike can't, maybe one of the other guys can. So feel free to join up. I'll let everybody in. It's not a big deal. We have a couple videos already in the can that I need to get edited and show. We have one pickup, an arcade bottom feeders episode. We did kind of talk about it in the last one. We actually skipped an episode because we had already filmed part of it. We just got to get the ending of that done and show what we did to fix that game. With the last arcade bottom feeders, it was the slick shot, and we didn't have sensors going. Well, we found out right after we filmed the video, those sensors need 5 volts run to them, and it's best to just run it separately from the power supply instead of through the harness. But go ahead and run it both places so that you know, and it needs 5.1, and it's real finicky. So if you run both around, it's supposed to get enough power to those sensors. So we're going to do that probably this weekend or something and get that filmed, get it finished. The other one is past couple days or a few days, I've been helping Nathan, which if you follow the channel, you know I go over to his house and help him with his games a lot. He got a new Cruising World, and the monitor was really, really wonky, and it was drifting in and out of focus and brightness. And so it was a Neotech 25E. It's really common for those that need a new flyback, and it had never been changed. So went ahead and capped it, changed it, changed the flyback. It was missing a color, so I got a transistor for the neck board to swap out for that color. We put it all back together, and we just never could get the colors right. Tried many things, searched the internet, and went through hundreds and hundreds of clog posts, and never really could pin down what it was, what I was missing. Nathan wants to just go ahead and throw an LCD in. He doesn't want to mess with it anymore. But he has given me the monitor, so I'm not sure if I'm going to release what we did and we never fixed it as part 1, and then part 2 of us troubleshooting that monitor, maybe over at Mike's or something when we have a little bit more time. Or maybe I'll just save the footage and put it all together as one. But I have like 25 minutes of us sitting there and adjusting and not working, and then thinking we had the wrong flyback, and then thinking that I had wired the flyback wrong. No, it was right flyback. It was wired right. It was just something's missing. It's almost like the red through the JAMA harness isn't making it to the monitor. I don't know. But anyway, thanks for watching, and like I promised, you guys know, if you watch the channel, I'm a big Blues fan. The Blues did win the Stanley Cup, and so my drought of videos is going to be over. I'm going to get back to work. This is my generic unlicensed shirt. The stuff in St. Louis sold out like really fast. It was really hard to find anything. So I ordered a shirt and a hat from the NHL website, but it's not going to be here till like the end of July. So I bought this one from the gas station, but it's definitely not licensed because we are the St. Louis Cup champions. And then down here, what's it say? St. Louis First Hockey Championship. Woo! It says Stanley and it says Gloria, but it doesn't say Stanley Cup on here anywhere. And it doesn't say the Blues on here anywhere. But it is kind of cool. It says the scores of the games. You see 2 games where we got our butts kicked. But anyway, really excited about that. It's also my birthday, so that was a great birthday present. And that's it for this video. I'll go ahead and let Mike recommend something for you. Thanks for watching.
What did you think about that video? Did you like that video? I loved it. Was I not in it? Well, then I didn't love that. I better been in that video. I hope you liked the video. It was definitely my best work. If I'm not in that video, you better watch this one over here. Oh, if you're not going to do that, just subscribe. You'll get a notification. Bye.